the other one, you bastard!
Greetings, Cybertronians, I'm DrLockdown, and, I don't know how to start this video. To be honest, I'm just thankful that you're all here. Yes, it's been a long time coming indeed, and it was made even longer due to the fact that I had to replace my motherboard on my laptop, but now we are ready to celebrate 1,000 subscribers. Truly, thank you for this. I never actually thought I'd be doing a Q&A in this situation, but hey, I'm lucky enough, so... Jesus Christ, I didn't really think about what I would say here. It's just bloody brilliant, you know. For those who are just watching now, before I reached 1,000 subscribers, I put out a few videos here and there saying that I would answer as many questions in a Q&A as possible. And I will answer as many questions in this particular Q&A. If I don't get to yours, I am sorry, but I'll try to get through all of them. So without further ado, let's get started. What is your overall favourite figure in the Prime Wars trilogy? Now that's an easy one, just give me a second. Without a doubt, that would have to be Titan's Return Trigger Happy. Personally, I feel that Titan's Return was the best element out of the trilogy, and even then Trigger Happy really shines above the rest in terms of his quality. Plus, I actually appreciate him even more after seeing how awful the G1 toy is. Like, really, the Generation 1 toy is garbage! I don't know why I bought it, to be honest. It's not good, but this is truly special. They've taken everything that didn't work with the G1 toy, omitted it, and added in a healthy dose of creativity. I just wish he wasn't so expensive on the aftermarket. If you were to choose any Transformer to get a new figure in Generations, what would it be? About half a year ago, I probably would have said Minerva, because I've been dying for an upgrade for ages and ages, but Fans Hobby seems to be filling that void, so coincidentally that's actually my recent review that I just released, G1 Stalker. There's just so much potential in a nice chunky Voyager, turquoise and fuchsia tank. It's a simple but really effective design, and if they gave it the same love that they gave to Spinister, they could really make a great toy out of it. What do you think of the new Pokemon games and the music in them? I can't say much about the music because I haven't heard much of it, but in terms of the new Pokemon games, they are flat out not my thing. After buying Pokemon Y, I noticed that there was a massive downgrade in quality, and then after seeing that in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, and also Sun and Moon and Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, I started realizing the franchise was plummeting in quality. And then of course there's the whole Sword and Shield debacle, which I was just flabbergasted by. I do not condone the harassment of the developers in any shape or form, but I can't help but think that Game Freak is now on the same level of Activision and EA in terms of their fuckery, constantly churning out yearly franchises and engaging in microtransaction bullshit. I'm sorry, but they f***ed up. I'm not playing that. Who inspires you the most? Lewis Cole, the fact that he's able to take a very bare-bones budget and make some fantastic content is truly amazing. Outside of this, I'm actually a musician. I was actually studying jazz music full-time until the started, and then I postponed my degree because I don't want to do online courses for that. So yeah, outside of YouTube, he's the one who most inspires me. Do you think we will ever get a non-Generation Selects version of Star Saber in the future? I think it's entirely possible, but I do think that before Hasbro gets around to it, we will actually get a Takara Selects version. As much as I hate to admit it, the MP version is kinda shit. It's very lackluster in its build quality and articulation, as well as its surface detail, so there is very much a market for a Chug version, and I feel Takara can fill that void, and they might. They might say the MP already fits that, but I don't know, I think they might give us a proper one. Also should say thank you for the kind words. Now, I'm not going to answer the first of these questions because I'm afraid that's a little bit private, but what is your favourite Unicron trilogy toy? Our worlds are in danger! What do you think about Kre-O? It's awful. The plastic quality is absolute garbage, especially compared to Lego and even Mega Bloks these days. Not to mention there's that supposed contract that specifies that licensed third parties can't actually make transforming figures, so you end up with complete parts formers that just go shoop and back together, just like those bullshit transformations in Age of Extinction. And when they did eventually transform, they were terribly designed. You look at some of the fan-made stuff that the Lego Transformers community is making these days, and yes, there is a thriving Lego Transformers community that you can check out, but Kre-O just dropped the f***ing ball. And that Chinese knockoff Lego that Hasbro sanctions at the moment, yeah, that's somehow even worse. Do you play any sports? No, f*** sports. What is your favourite food? Pasta with homemade bolognese. When did you started YouTube? Grammar aside, just check the date on the first video I uploaded. Which football team did you go for? See the answer to question 1. What do you think of the Earthrise line so far? Some of it's good, but a lot of it just feels lazy. They're using G1 as a crutch for lazy engineering. That doesn't apply to all figures. In fact, I'm planning on reviewing one specific figure that truly rises above what it sets out to do, but a lot of them, such as Cliffjumper, Hoist, and Wheeljack, they say, we're G1 Earth modes, so we can be lazy in certain sections. There's just something missing that was there in Siege and isn't there now. And what's your favourite drink? Lemon, lime, and bitters. How can you be named after Lockdown, yet have never reviewed any of his figures? Because unfortunately the only Lockdown figure I own is the Revenge of the Fallen one, and it's fallen apart. Might get Perukill at some point, but I don't know. If you had to pick one genuinely good Power of the Primes figure that held up as good as the other classics lines, which one would you pick and why? That's easy. Punch Counter Punch. The reason he works so well is because he pretty much forgoes the Power of the Primes gimmick system and also uses his extra budget to really make some good engineering. He's not perfect, but he's closer to Siege than he is to Power of the Primes. Combiners, to parts form or not to parts form. I usually hate parts forming, but for combiners it really does benefit the combined mode in a multitude of ways. In fact, for more details, take a look at the card on screen or the link in the description to my Studio Ox DX9 Hulky upgrade. It really does help the figure. What's the one thing you regret buying the most? My entire Warhammer collection. What is your least favourite Combiner Wars mold? That's a piece of cake. Brawl. I do actually have a review of that, but it's so old that I highly recommend you don't watch it. I already have answered the first question in this, so the second one is, what's your favourite non-G1 character? Not this specific incarnation, but you get the idea. And no, I'm not making the joke. What's the best bargain pickup you've ever found? Basically when a fellow Sydney Transformers collector gave away most of his Unicron Trilogy and movie collections to focus more on G1 and Masterpiece, and I ended up walking out with a full suitcase filled with about $500 to $700 worth of toys. If you were only able to keep 5 figures in your collection, what would they be? Or more simply, if you don't have the time, what would be the one Iron Factory keeper you'd keep if you had to? The one Iron Factory figure I'd probably keep would be Ultimate Commander. He's just a very fun figure on his own, and I guess that kinda counts with Elite 1 if you have the box set. But outside of those on the spot, I guess that would probably be... Trigger Happy goes without saying. I guess maybe Power of the Primes Predaking. Crumbs definitely counts because he's the mascot of the channel. And I guess for sentimentality's sake, maybe Feral Queen, and probably MP36, and probably Slurpee Convoy as well. But that's just me guessing on the spot. If you gave me some more time to think about it, I'd probably come up with a different answer. MP Transformers Prime or Animated Line, or perhaps Unicron Trilogy.
¿Por qué no los dos?
What is your least favourite third-party figure? What is your favourite Smash character? I don't play a lot of Smash, but I typically play as Sheik when I do. I'm pretty awful though. What are your most anticipated figures from Earthrise to Studio Series? Pretty sure they meant Orb, but in Earthrise it is Skylynx. And in Studio Series I am immensely excited to complete Devastator, even though he is bipedal when he shouldn't be. What's your favourite figure in all of Transformers? If you can't answers, well, what's your favourite toy line? At present, it's actually gone back to Feral Queen, just for sentiment reasons. You know, fun fact, I spoke with a deco designer and apparently the colour scheme is supposed to replicate a bikini. I did not know that. What's your favourite Jet Transformer? Still not making the joke. What's your favourite Racecar Transformer? I don't own that many Racecar Transformers, and the ones that I do are kinda shit. Who's prettier, RC or Windblade? Geisha Robot. What's your first Transformer you ever got? 07 movie Legends class
Blackout.
There will be a link in the description to that review, as well as a card up there. Have you ever read any of the Marvel Transformers comics from the 80s? Yes, I have, and that is why my favourite character is Death's Head. He's f***ing awesome. If Hasbro asked Masaaki Yuasa to work on an official Transformers project, would it suck or not? Due to the location, it will probably be Takara, not Hasbro. I'd imagine it would last for one season because Yuasa has a very specific directing style, and I think Takara would ask them to remain more faithful to the franchise. There would be some arguments, it would turn out great but last only one season, and several of the toys would get cancelled. Even question liking Transformers. What got you into Transformers in the first place? The 2007 Michael Bay live-action movie. What kind of music do you like/listen to? Now, primarily I listen to jazz because that's the music I play, but I also listen to other forms of music such as metal, electronic. The only genre I really don't listen to is dubstep. What are your thoughts on all the new Transformers film projects that just got announced this week? Well, it was several weeks ago at the time of recording this, but I honestly think they're all going to fall through, and we're just going to have a generic paint-by-the-numbers project by the end of it all. I don't trust Paramount in the slightest. What is your favourite Transformers show and toy line? My favourite show? Gonna have to go with Beast Wars. It's one of the most solidly written. If Apple keeps Doctor away, do me smash Apple into Doctor's face. Please don't, I quite like my face. What is your favorite Studio Series figure? SS-38 Bumblebee Optimus Prime. It's really a brilliantly designed figure with an amazing transformation, brilliant articulation, it's just all around fun. Do you think there needs to be more official and or third-party animated figures? Yes, but unfortunately, one thing we have to keep in mind is that animated fans are in the minority. I absolutely hate this fact, but G1ers are the majority of the fandom. They're the ones making the big money. So animated Prime and Unicron Trilogy updates aren't that likely. In fact, as far as I can recall, not many people actually bought Generation Select's Hotshot, so it's unlikely we'll be getting any other updates in the future. And animated, well, I know there was that whole movement from David K recently, but I wouldn't count on it. Let's face it, myself and the people watching this video most likely are stuck as the minority of this fandom. We are the niche, and G1ers are the primary source of income. You hate to see it. What is your favorite Optimus Prime? The War for Cybertron 2010 Deluxe class Optimus Prime. For the longest time, I considered this to be the best Deluxe I'd ever handled. But nowadays, I realize there are some elements that haven't aged well. For example, the lack of a waist swivel and such. Still a remarkable figure, and I don't know why people have so much trouble transforming it though. What other TF YouTubers do you recommend / watch? I frequently watch Thew, Vangelis when he uploads, bless his soul, TJ Omega, and Jobby. Do you like Fortnite? No. What is your most hated Switch game? That's actually pretty tough because I haven't purchased that many awful Switch games. I mean, I could tell you about awful 3DS games till the cows come home, but I haven't had that much bad luck with the Switch because I've actually done my research before purchasing a lot of them. Actually, wait, there was one game that I recently tried that was truly awful. Gave Elder Scrolls Blades a shot, had some fun for a couple of hours, then realized in the end it just was not for me. It really does grind you to a halt after a while and requires you to pay to progress. God, I'm gonna have to film some to get footage for this Q&A now. F***ing hell! Can you tank every live-action Transformers movie from worst to you best? Okay. Where did you get Crumbs? Did you get him during G1, or did you get him at BotCon or something? Crumbs is a knockoff Micromaster that came with the first review I ever did on this channel. Sir Toys is a store that specializes in knockoffs, and it operates out of China, and Paul, the guy who owns it, often puts in Micromasters or Minicons in with every single purchase. They are completely garbage knockoffs, but I started using him in size comparisons and he just kind of stuck around. It is kind of weird that people associate him more with this channel than Vaughn, though.
Excuse me, you're f***ing what, mate?
I mean, I ran a poll, so apparently that's the case.
What the hell, you bastards?
What is your opinion on Beast Wars and Beast Machines? I loved the Beast Wars show, and I still actually enjoyed the Beast Machines show, but I don't own any toys from either toy line. Well, that's not true. I do have a few really awful Beast Machines toys, but I don't know. Actually, wait, Scavenger was a lot of fun. He was a brilliant little Beast Machines figure. But I don't know, many original Beast Wars figures are just too kibbly for my taste. Sorry, guys. Already answered the second question, so what is your least favorite Transformers movie? Age of Extinction. At every single point of that movie, it's practically insulting the audience for watching us. Like, yeah, you came to watch this shitty movie, and you're gonna suffer through it, you fucking animal. Who do you prefer, Soundwave or Shockwave?
It is only logical.
What is your worst and best Transformers toy line of all time in your opinion? I already talked about what I thought the best was, so the worst? I want to say Fall of Cybertron, but I don't have that many figures from it. Still, from what I've seen, it truly was awful. That said, the worst line that I have personally collected through would have to be Power of the Primes. It was just a shit show. Who is Vaughn and what media is he from? Vaughn is a character from a now defunct D&D game I was participating in. I created him to be a cyborg paladin. I got kicked out of that D&D campaign. I transferred him over to a new D&D campaign, and then that campaign ran its course. By the end of that campaign, I was pretty much dishing out all the damage and taking all the hits. I don't know how I managed to min-max him, but it kind of happened. Have there been any reviews you planned to make but scrapped at the last section because you realized your script was awful? Yes, several times, but the only one I can really remember vividly was the Machine Wars Sandstorm review. Now, I already went into details how I don't want to review him for personal reasons last review, but even before that, the script was just garbage. It was way too negative. Because that figure does have a lot of flaws. There are a lot of minor flaws, but the ultimate figure is really good. But explaining each of those flaws takes time, and it makes me feel more negative than I actually am. Being too negative is something I struggle with. I try to make a nice balance, but it is quite difficult. What is your favorite and least favorite video you have ever done? My favorite is the Ectotron 1 review. That was really fun to make. Going down south to meet up with a Lutnarat, coming up with the brilliant script. I think it's one of my favorite scripts, and the editing process was incredibly fun, despite not having access to my original hard drive. I'm just really sad that video didn't go anywhere, so if you guys could watch it, that would be greatly appreciated. Not just for my sake, but because Alutnarat is an amazing individual, and I really want that video to get some traction. Would you read a Beast Wars 2 Sausage or lick a Micromaster DX Stealth Tracker? I don't know what either of those are. What inspired you to make a channel? Surprisingly, Optimus did, of all people. I nowadays don't really like his content, considering how stale it's become, but hey, we all have our inspirations. And I've already answered the second question there. Are there any lines you've had to do an annoyingly/unusually high number of takes to get right? Yes, every single video there's one of those. Any jokes you were dead set on including until you had them recorded, and were about to edit them in when you realized they were a terrible idea from the start? Again, yes, practically every single video has one of those.
I teleported bread!
Okay, mate. Seen Gennady Tartakovsky's Primal series? If so, what are your thoughts on it? I have not, and I plan to watch it before making this, but I just ran out of time. I'll watch it as soon as I can. And finally, does Vaughn have a Tinder profile? He's on a special wizard's Tinder. Good luck finding it. And, oh my god, I am finally done. That was a long filming session. I've been filming for practically an hour at this point. It's gonna be a nightmare editing this one, I know that for sure. But regardless, I cannot thank you enough for the support you've given this channel over the past 5 years. Now that I've got all my technology back in front of me, I'm back to my normal schedule, and I've got a lot of plans for videos coming in the future. So all I really have to say is, thank you. And I'll catch you next time.